Now, thank you, Rahul, for that very on-point introduction of Prajakta. I just take the liberty of adding one more point to that. I'm sharing the stage here with the only Indian creator who has featured on the Time magazine's 100 creators list. This is a global one, guys, and a big, big moment. So please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, thank you. You're very kind. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm very happy to be here.
Now, Prajakta, you started off as a radio jockey. Of course, you got fame as
That
a
would be a stretch. I struggled as a radio jockey, barely made it. I started as a radio intern. Let's stay there.
Okay, so the radio was your first platform, and then, of course, you got fame as a content creator and an influencer. But you are many things. You are an author, you're an actor, you're also UN climate champion. So if I have to ask you to give an introduction, or maybe a one-line intro to someone who possibly is living under a rock and doesn't know you, what would you choose? What profession?
I think I would just choose being a creator because that kind of covers a lot of these other aspects, because I feel very happy that I got to get to be a creator in today's time and age where sorry, that's just my friend, okay. Where everyone is, every job kind of has now become this melting pot, right? Like the lines have gotten very blurry. So I feel very happy that I got to be a creator today. So I think I'll stick with that.
Now influencers and comedy sort of go hand in hand. And you nailed it when you started off your journey as mostly sane. I think everyone, or most of us in the audience, want to see more of Montu, to be honest. And then, of course, you hosted this show called Indian Comedy Premium League. But I've noticed that you kind of stayed away from that provocative comedy, or that comedy which is laced with a lot of abuses, which has sort of landed in trouble a lot of influencers of late, like Ranveer or Samay. Was that a conscious decision always to kind of keep your comedy clean?
Not at all. Actually, honestly, when I started off, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. So there is no way I could have made a conscious decision. I think also the fact that the internet kind of gives you that liberty and that space and time to kind of try again and see what works, what doesn't work, kind of landed me in the content space that I am in right now. When it came to making content, and again, this is a very personal view, I've always thought that each creator has a very different journey, they have a very different story, they have a very different motivation for telling every story. And they come from their own places. For me, honestly, this was the most comfortable way of making content, and this was the space that I wanted to be in. So when I did see that everything, whatever I was putting out every now and then kind of did better, and then I kind of built on that. So as much as I met my audience halfway with content, I also worked on engagement from their side to understand what's actually working for them and what not. So I think together my audience and I kind of made this zone ours, but no conscious decision at all, no.
Now, of course, you're an established brand now, but would you say that being an influencer is easy? Because literally every second person I know thinks that, tomorrow I'll start posting some videos, I'll get a lot of followers, I'll become a brand, brands will come to me, and then I can happily quit my 9-to-5 job.
But
so,
it's true.
It's true? You think
And
anybody
isn't it
can do
great?
that?
I think so. I think that is what has made India the kind of digital icon that we are in the world right now. There is a reason why everybody wants a piece of us. There's a reason why everybody wants to come here. Dude, the other day, I'm seeing these Polish creators make content with an Indian flag around them. And I was like, wow, because they know that the biggest audience pull today, the people who have accessible, affordable internet in almost each and every corner of our country, are on Instagram, are on YouTube, and this is a market that everybody wants. So I think that this market has also become this big, not only because of the consumers, but also because of the creators. The more creators we got on the board, the more seriously brands started taking creators in general. The fact that when I started off, I remember when I used to talk to my friends who used to work in marketing and stuff like that, they would say, we're working with 2 and 3% budget for digital marketing. Today, more than 40 to 60% of the budget for every brand is kind of only digital. Nobody's spending money in TV. Nobody's spending money on hoardings as much as they will pay a creator who will give you targeted reach and ROI for what you want. So it's great. It's because of everyone thinking that it's that power that the internet gives you to not wait for an opportunity to come to you, but you kind of do it for yourself, and then it works for some. There are lovely stories about creators coming out from different parts of our country that we would have never had the pleasure to know about or follow. But now we know that, and it's very affirming for me as a creator now for more than a decade that I get to be a part of this economy where people, it's actually lucrative. It's actually a money-making thing. It's not something कि अच्छा चले जा रहा है पता नहीं क्या होगा नहीं होगा घर खरीदे जा रहे हैं गाड़ियाँ खरीदी जा रही हैं investments हो रहे हैं और होने भी चाहिए. So I think it's great.
You know, that's a ray of hope coming from Prajakta for all of us who think we can become influencers. That's great. But you know, you are on the other side. And you know, this is unlike any other profession where, you know, your followers who perhaps like your posts are also competing to become influencers in their own right. So how difficult is it to actually keep that standard, keep that brand alive and be distinct?
It's a lot of hard work. Now, when I say that, of course you can be a creator, I don't mean that it comes easy to any of us. And anyone who's here, who's tried making content consistently as a job knows what I mean. When you start off, it's an extremely isolating process. You have, and no matter when you start, I mean, I started 10 years ago, you could start today and you'll still have no clue how to go about this. I think it's such a roller coaster of a job, and there's no blueprint. It's not like anybody knows exactly what they're doing. We're all kind of winging it. We're all learning. Like, times are changing, platforms are changing, the audience is changing, consumption patterns are changing. So you kind of just learn on the go. But having said that, I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
How difficult is it to keep
it's
your
very
brand?
no वो तो है ही. So having said that, मैं ये नहीं कहना चाह रही हूँ कि जितने लोग कर रहे हैं सबके लिए बड़ा आसान है आज. It's not that easy. Yes, there is a lot of the community of creators is huge today, so it will take you some time to kind of find what works for you, find your footing, and then keep going forward. But anyone who wants to start today, that's what I tell them, that yes, there's a lot of creators in the community, but imagine how many more consumers there are. Everything has an audience today, and I love that the internet has kind of taken all boundaries away. There's nothing that's off limits for you to watch or consume anymore. So it's difficult. I don't think if you want, again, in my opinion, I don't think that if you wanted to be a full-on lucrative brand, you can do it as a hobby. I don't think you can do it on the side. You can begin on the side, but eventually it has to become your full-time job.
So you have to go all out. You know, it's either
Oh,
this or
100%.
nothing.
100%. It's a business, na? It's like any startup. आपका investment इसमें ये होता है कि चलो you're putting your ideas, you're putting your time, you're putting whatever money you have into building your your team or whatever, and then it's just that you try making things and you keep building on it. It's like if you really break it down, not that I have a lot of business knowledge and stuff, but I'm guessing that if you had to start a startup, it wouldn't be that difficult. It wouldn't be that different from being a creator where you're building your own brand. So as long as you look at it from that point of view, I think you're fine.
No, but there's also this other challenge of Instagram constantly changing its algorithm. And of course, the government has also stepped in. They want to make influencers more accountable today. So the restrictions have increased. So how are you also grappling with that as you move forward? Is that tough, or is it something that can easily be managed?
You learn, you see, it's a wave. You surf or you swim. If you want to choose to stand on the side and look at things, you miss out on it. So you kind of make what you can of the opportunities. Honestly, the number of times when everyone's like, oh my God, AI is going to take our job. And I was like, bro, you don't get to make that choice anymore. I mean, the world's kind of going to evolve into what it's evolving anyway. So as a creator, the one thing that you can never do is be complacent or tell yourself, ki, Achha, chalo, now I know what I'm doing. Honestly, if you ask me where do I see myself as a creator in the next 2 years, I have no clue. I didn't see this happening 10 years ago when I started. So clearly I don't know better. So when you're in a situation like this, obviously there's going to be newer things and things that you were not used to that you're going to have to adapt to. And then I think you just play with that.
You know, I also touched upon algorithms, and I want to, talk a little bit more about it. And because I've seen your videos where, you made some fun videos where you spoke about, how you're dancing to the tunes of Instagram's algorithms. It's very cute. And as an OG content creator, I want to ask you to give 3 tips to the ones who want to enter this world.
Wow, 3? I think there is no, and it's cliche, but honestly, it's the one thing that's worked for me so well. There is no alternative to working hard. There's no alternative to showing up every day and kind of being there. Some days it gets very difficult. You're standing on very thin ice with yourself where you're like, what am I doing with my life? None of this is working. Nobody cares about me. And then there'll be that one piece of content that gives you everything that you've been waiting for. And then suddenly it'll all be taken away from you because your next three things didn't work. So the only thing, so number one, work hard. Number two, please be okay with uncertainty when it comes to this platform. Nobody knows. I have sat down with many platforms that had many conversations. Even they don't know how this is going, honestly. None of us know what we are doing, so you're fine. And number three, always know that the audience is so much smarter than you are. Always. And that doesn't mean you let them bully you or you kind of listen to every single good, bad, ugly thing they have to say. But always know that you are never, as a creator, in a position to fool your audience or to take them on a ride. They always know.
You also touched upon AI, and everybody today thinks that AI is after all our jobs. And AI has interestingly got into the influencer space as well. We're actually seeing AI-led influencers.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to become really big in future and you're going to see like a 50-50 breakup of real influencers and AI influencers?
I have no clue. I do not know. Who knows? It could be 50-50, it could be 70-30, who knows? It all depends on the audience.
See potential? I mean, do you think AI influencers can actually become bigger than...
I'm guessing. Honestly, I am, as someone who's been in this space for so long, I really don't know what's a sure shot win anymore. Because if any of us knew how to make a video viral, every picture or every video of ours would be viral. I don't think any of us know that. So for us to predict any kind of trends or any kind of movement coming from a purely creative space, I think is very tough.
Because we are also our audience, which is largely into advertising. I have to come to advertising now. Now, you worked on global initiatives like Michelle Obama's Girl Education campaign. And of course, you were United Nations' first youth climate champion.
UNDPs, United Nation Development Programs, yeah.
And does that association sort of wane when you think of brand collaborations? I mean, when you pick those brands that you really need to associate with? Just to give you an example, I know, would you ever maybe have a collab with a Rajnigandha, which maybe a Priyanka Chopra has done in the past? Is that something that you would consider, or you would just go ahead and do it if you think there's enough humor, you can do it, pull it off well?
I think both these sides of my job are not kind of interdependent in any way. They do kind of cross over, and I'm sure there are pros and cons of both. But I don't think in the position that I am in ever when it comes to brand work, any of this kind of weighs in. I'll be very honest, none of this was again a plan. I never thought that I want to work in climate, or I want to work in girls' education, or I want to work in gender equality, inclusivity, like any of that. It kind of just happened. One conversation another, the domino kind of kept falling, and I happened to be in a position where amazing partners like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Obama Foundation, or UNDP, or the UN, or YouTube kind of put me in that place where they were like, hey, you know what? Why don't you? So I just happened to be in these places where collaborations worked very well for me, where I spoke about issues that were socially relevant to my audience and me. But when it comes to brands, I think either ways it is something that, like, you could do a brand today as a creator, but you know that it's going to affect your brand for the rest of its time online. So that's a very conscious call that I take. There are certain things that if I don't, I mean, how do I sell Rajnigandha if I'm not eating it? You know what I mean? The most story I have around Rajnigandha is मेरे नाना जी खाते थे भाई, तो मुझे उसकी smell पता है कैसी है. That reminds me of him. But beyond that, I have no story to tell for that. So as long as it can be a seamless conversation with my content, as long as it can be a part of my life, and which is why I feel very happy that I've got such long associations with someone like, say, a Gillette. Because that has been organically been a part of my life for a very long time. So that conversation becomes very easy.
And another thing I think that we are noticing of late is a lot of influencers are launching their own brands. I think Kusha just came up with Underneath, and very smartly at that. You also launched your own merchandise. I mean, this is 2-3 years ago, I remember.
I actually partnered with a brand that was already there.
Yeah, so that happened. I want to know if in the near future, maybe this year or next, do you actually plan to launch a specific brand under your name?
Not really. I don't think I'm very good at the business side of things. I mean, I could have sold more things in my merch, but I don't have the sensibility to kind of put my brain into getting that done. But while I didn't kind of sell that many t-shirts, I did end up selling a lot of books. So I think we just all have to find what works for us. I have a team that's very, very good at business, but at the end, I think we'll see if there's anything that I can. But as of now, I'm very happy with like content and writing.
Another business question for you. What are the different streams of revenues for influencers today?
You have pay-per-view, which comes through AdSense on YouTube. You get money from brands. If you write a book, then you get royalties from that. If you have a merch brand, if you have your own merch, then you get royalties from that. If you partner up and start your own things, then that's a whole new business that happens on its own. I know a lot of creators who are also into making their own makeup. I think Mrunal, who has Mrucha Beauty, right? Mrunal, right? I'm not saying her name wrong. Yes, I love her. So I think she started a whole ass makeup brand and slowly doing great. So these are the things that we know of as of now in my experience. But there is literally nothing that is on paper right or wrong when it comes to being a creator. Every door kind of opens into a new stream, and then there are multiple collaborations that can happen. So there is no set combination that works. I think it's many opportunities of making money.
We generally feel that it's a great time to be an influencer today. But I know you are not into predictions. But 10 years from now, do you feel this influencer community will thrive, considering that today we're facing a lot of problems with influencers by kind of endorsing multiple competing brands? That authenticity, that personalized review comment is kind of missing, I feel. And also the question of fake likes, fake followers has been chasing us for a while now. So do you think this is something that can be solved, or despite that, the community is going to thrive?
I think despite that, the community is going to thrive, because like I said, your audience is very, very smart. I mean, you could do the whole fake lives and fake likes and fake comments and trying to rig your way through it, but eventually it's going to get called out, and it is being called out. There's a lot of creators who get called out for not being honest. So I think again, it's a whole ecosystem. So there's always going to be all different sides of this business that are going to come up. So I think it's still going to thrive, yeah.
I'd like to read out a message that you shared after you were, of course, on that list of Time Magazine 100 creator list. You spoke about thank you to 21-year-old Prajakta who dove headfirst into storytelling as a creator with no plan, no prep, no roadmap, just heart, just instinct, and just love for stories. Now, many years later, of course, you have a bigger team, you have a bigger persona. Are you at that stage in your career where you still let instinct decide for you, or are you very judicious and very careful about, what you're going to do next?
I have to depend on instinct, because it's gotten me opportunities and it's given me fake courage to do things that I generally would not opt for. I have done things that I found extremely daunting and challenging just because I had a hunch that maybe this could be a good idea. So I do lean a lot on instinct when it comes to me. And then I just happen to have a very, very touchwood equipped team who has the brains. So I'm kind of sorted there.
Because you said you lean on instinct, I would love to hear an example. A hilarious one or something that landed you into trouble.
Trouble?
Anything that you were not very happy about doing after your instinct told you to.
What was I not happy about doing? I have one thing, but I can't tell you that. There's too many people in charge who are in the room today. So I wouldn't want that information to be out. But every time that something has not worked, I've actually kind of learned to, again, there's no formal training that any of us have for this, right? So ऐसे ही गिर पड़ के ही समझे सारे एक एक करके कि चलो ऐसा अगली बारी नहीं करना है. So that is the only thing. But I nothing huge though, nothing major.
And one last question, because we have exactly 8 seconds to go. Now, influencers are becoming celebrities, and you are a great example of that. And you've crossed that threshold of YouTube and Instagram, and you literally, got into the silver screen as well. Now you've written books. You're an actor.
One book.
Yeah, you're right.
Just one.
Are you writing another?
I am working on the second one, but it's not written yet.
Oh, okay. So, author, you're an actor. What is the next frontier?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that I would write and publish a book so early. So I guess I'm just putting this out that if anyone wants to take the rights to my book and make a movie about it, I'm open. So maybe creative producer. That's the next route we take.
Super. We're looking forward to that and hope there's someone in the audience who can actually take that forward.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Prajakta. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.